Hello everyone and welcome to an unboxing of the Warhammer Underworlds Ultimate Competitive Miniature Game new 2-player starter set, which uses older content for the game, I think way back in the original version of this, which was Shadespire, I think. I'm not super familiar with Warhammer Underworlds. I played the video game adaptation, never played the tabletop version, but I was interested in going in on it, and this is an updated 2-player starter set that includes all the various rule changes and additional rules that have happened since the original release of the game. And includes a very handy starter set guide, or starter guide I should say, along with 2 full warbands that you can use in the game. It's a smaller scale game set in the Age of Sigmar universe, played on that era that you can see there. Comes with, I think they're push fit, I think they're all push fit, and those are shown to actual scale up there. But it comes with 2 full warbands and everything you need to play with those warbands and any other general tokens and things for the game. 2-player, 30-minute game, although honestly most I've seen have been quicker than that. Ages 12 plus, and has just been released. But as I say, it is recycling some very old content, but kind of modernising it a little bit. The cursed city of Shadespire has trapped you and your warriors in its ghastly embrace. Now you must battle your way through its haunted streets and find a way to freedom. Or just beat each other up, you know, whichever. Anyway, I'm going to grab some scissors and we're going to crack in and see what it looks like. So what we'll say as I get the lid off here, it's a small box, but it's actually surprisingly heavy. Let's see here, get this off the top. Oh come on, I thought I got everything, yeah I did, it's just on tight. There we go, okay, we'll just put that back to one side there, and then we'll see. Apparently I've got the box upside down. I shouldn't, or maybe they just put the read this first book in upside down. So let's see here, this is not the rulebook then, this is a new edition. I think I saw them talking about this on the Warhammer community post. It eventually just gives you an overview of the game, but then takes you through literally a whole game, telling you exactly what happens and what to do to follow the flow of a game, which is actually a very novel way of showing you how the game works. I just redid the tutorial in the video game to give me a bit of a head start, but honestly, yeah, it takes you through the full 3 rounds, showing you every power phase and activation that you can do. It's 3 rounds of 4 activations each. What happens if you win, and then it also covers what if a dice roll had been a different way, because I think this literally tells you, like, pretend this is the dice result, here's what happens, and takes you through how to use the cards. Yeah, so one side is just 3 Stormcast, and then the other ones are the Sepulchre something or other. I'm not even sure if that's how you pronounce it, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, they get 7 models. So 7 models to 3, but in general theirs are weaker. So yeah, this literally takes you through step by step, and do this, do this, do this. That is a good way to teach a game. Obviously it doesn't account for every possibility, but it is a good way to get the basics down, because you're actually playing it at the same time. And it helps you understand why something happens when, because I presume also, I think that looks like it takes you through how spells work, how scoring works. But if you don't want to do that, that's fine, because it does also come with the updated rulebook. That's a lot of pages, that's what, 54 pages. Oh, that's fun art on the back there. Yeah, so that's 54 pages of a literal step-by-step of playing a full game. Then you have the actual rulebook. It's quite heavy as well. 55 pages including reference, and this has, as I say, I think it has all the updated special rules they added from the original release. So if you are jumping in for the first time into Underworlds like I am, not counting the video game, this should, in theory, bring you up to date, up to speed real quick. And some painting guides as well, which means they're filling space a little bit. I feel like that should always be a separate thing from a rulebook personally, but that's just me. How to build your deck. There's 2 ways to play the game. You can either play Rival or Nemesis. Rival is a pre-constructed deck, so you don't need to worry about it, just use what you're told. And Nemesis is, you can try hard. You can mix in neutral cards, Grand Alliance cards, and anything as long as it's legal, and just make the strongest deck you can for the warband you like using. I believe Nemesis is more considered more competitive, but Rivals is considered more balanced and more fun. At least from my friend who plays a lot of this. He's actually going to Warhammer World to play in a tournament for this. So he knows it better than I do, let's put it that way. So that is the rulebook, and it looks like I'm going to have to cut some polythene off some map tiles next. Alright, polythene off. So the board is, I was going to say it's in 2 halves. Maybe it's not. Oh no, it still is. So it comes with 2 different themes on each side. I guess it must be a 2x2 map altogether. You don't have to put them smooth up against each other. You can offset them slightly. I'm not going to bend that too much just right now. And the markers are potential starting locations as well. But there should be 2 of those. So, oh yeah, here we go. So you can mix and match. Oops. So that's the other half of that design. But then over here, almost looks like a Necron type thing with all the green crystals and whatnot. So that is the playing area you get with the game. There are other ones available. I'm not sure if they're still available. I think they were part of expansions prior to this. So these are the various tokens you need for the game. These must be glory, right? Yeah, the majority of them, the red ones are wound counters. The kind of gold ones are glory, which is victory points, for lack of a better comparison. Have the most glory, you win the game. And the reason there's a dull side is because you can spend them and buy upgrades for your characters using that. That's for marking whether or not you've moved or guarded or charged. And then you've got objective hexes, which are relevant to scoring some cards for glory. Oh, and I almost... Oh, good grief, they're coming loose. They're very loose. Some of the icons are already loose. You know what, that's okay, because they're all coming off anyway. I'll put that to one side. But yeah, there's some themed objectives there as well. And then after that, you have... some more fall off. You have the sprue. Very neat sprue. And as I say, I think it's all push fit. Yeah, it looks it based on just a quick glance. So you've got a warband of 7 skelly men. And hopefully this is in focus enough. I'm actually just back from an eye exam and the eye drops have not quite fully worn off. I could read stuff like the back of the box, but in terms of looking into the camera to know for sure that everything's in focus, not yet, not for a little bit. And then this big bit of sprue for just 3 minis. You've got your Stormcast Eternals. They're crossbow themed ones. They were in the video game, but I don't remember their proper term. So what does that leave us in the box? That leaves us with the dice used for the game. Defense dice and attack dice with various symbols. Some people need hammers to land successful hits, of which I think there's 2 on the d6. Swords, which there's 1 of, and then there's like 1 support, 2 support, and a crit, I think. Did I do 1 too many there? Very possibly. And the shield dice have dodge, block, support, and crit as well, I think. Some combination thereof of them. What does it say on the bottom here? Lift to find your rulebook token and game. Lift? They were all on top. What? Lift to find your rulebook tokens and game board. Did someone pack the box wrong as a joke? There's nothing under here. Yep. That's strange. I guess this was meant to be on top with the sprue, and then underneath it all would have been the cardboard, the rulebook, the quick start guide. But what you actually just have is your 2 rival decks, presumably. I don't think this comes with any additional cards. I think it just comes with their rival decks. So I'll open these to give them a look. Oh yeah, it does say that. The Farstriders and the Sepulchral Guard. I do not know how to pronounce that word. I apologise. So once again, I hope these are in focus. I apologise if they're not. I'll find out during editing. So that just tells you what's in the deck so that you can remake it if you ever make a mixed deck with neutral cards. This is your standard stat card. How far they move, what they roll for defense, their health, their attacks, how they inspire, and any special rules or would go there. Sometimes they just do fluff if there is no special rules, and on the other side is their inspired side. Oh, the art changes. Very neat. So we have that for Elias Swiftblade as well, and Ulmeric Eagle Eyes. See, it's wearing off, I can tell because I can read those. I can sort of read the inspire rule. This fighter has made 2 or more attack actions with different names in the same phase, I think that says. And then you get their objective cards. So this is how they score glory. It tells you how many it scores below. I'm not going to go through each one individually. I'm going to show off the art, hopefully, of what you get. And then we'll go to their gambits. Yeah, gambit cards, which are things you play during your turn to make stuff happen, or your enemy's turn. And upgrades, which you spend glory on to equip to sometimes any of your teammates or your warband. Sometimes it specifies. Let's see if we can find one that specifies. Usually it keeps the upgrades together, but that seems mixed together with the other types. Possibly not. Usually says along the bottom, I think. But well, maybe none of them are. Oh, there we go. Yeah, that one is restricted to Farstrider only, as an example. So that is one deck, and then we have our Skelly Men the guard, let's just say. So we have the warden, and they're in they get very spooky on the other side. The Prince of Dust, the champion, the harvester, which is my favourite just because he's got a scythe. Oh, I know in advance there's one, I don't know if it's an objective card or an upgrade, but there's one of him just running with the scythe dragging behind him that is hilarious. Let's see here, I want to find it. So these are objective cards. Yeah, it's that picture but by itself. They've reused it here for March of the Dead. They keep coming. Okay, there's another one. Come on, where is it? I imagine him just screaming. It's here somewhere. Bone shrapnel. Very nice. There it is. Yeah, he's just running with it, like dragging along behind him. Like, that's very scary. That would be very scary. And you've got an assortment of their upgrades as well, and some gambits / ploys. All of which is explained in the rulebook, and I presume you're taking through a few examples of using all of those in the quick start guide too. So that's everything you get in the new 2-player starter set for Warhammer Underworlds. It's pretty fairly priced. I would not get it direct, I would shop around, get it for like 20% off. That brings it down to, I think it was 50 something I found it for. I don't quite remember offhand now. But if you're splitting it with someone especially, that's pretty good value to jump in. It is a very fast game. From what I've seen, matches can take 20 minutes sometimes, especially once you're familiar with the rules. Obviously it goes faster, and it is something I'm considering bringing to the channel because it is that kind of bite-sized skirmish type game that I've taken a liking to. Back when I started the channel, sure, there was some 40k. That's a bit too much of a hullabaloo. I prefer the skirmish format, smaller scale stuff. More that way you can play more matches instead of just having one big affair. But you know, that's just me. So I'm going to give this a try. We're going to get some models painted up and give it a go on the channel. If you're especially excited in seeing Underworlds on the channel, let me know. So I'll know to focus the painting efforts there to get these Stormcast and Skeletons painted up, amongst other things. And yeah, thank you very much for watching. I hope this was insightful or helpful or encouraging if you were considering a purchase. Thank you for watching though, and I'll see you in the future for something else. Stop for now.